Emilly. I'm currently a fashion photography student, but I also do a lot of freelance work for events, mostly music events here in Leeds. And yeah, my work is revolved mostly around diversity and blackness and queerness heavily impact that too. I try to do a lot. I'd say I'm very present in different genres of art. I do painting, I do drawing, but those physically, drawing and stuff is more as a hobby or to express my own emotions, to have something on paper, like photography when you have a picture that you have there. So yeah, I do painting, writing. I've been experimenting with pastels and different type of paper. And also I've gotten into DJing. Last summer, I hyperfixated a lot during August 2023, no, 2022. Yeah. And yeah, I learned so much in the span of a month, and since then, I've had many opportunities to DJ at events. So yeah, I'd say drawing, painting, and musical part. And for uni, I've done some video work too, so that too. But yeah, that's my creative. I start with photography because I'm from Italy, so I grew up quite poor for Italy, or yeah, for a lot of years, and I was around my friends, and we are all from kind of the same background, same child of immigrants or immigrants, so we bonded over that. And one of my best friends was gifted a Canon at one point, and we were very much into breakdancing, graffiti, skateboarding. So since she was passionate about photography, she would take pictures of us as kind of like memory. And that stuck a lot with me, especially because one of the last summers that I was living in Italy, we would go around an abandoned factory and in my hometown, and she was taking a lot of pictures, and I took inspiration from it and started taking them too. After my 4 years in college, I resonated a lot with this type of art form and having interest also in fashion because of, I don't know, Italy is a lot centered around moda, like clothing and looking good, that even if you're going to the supermarket, you have to have a nice outfit on. And that always stuck with me. But also my African roots, my Ghanaian roots are heavily revolved around fabric and prints. And so it's kind of like a big mesh that inspired me and made me choose fashion photography as a university course. Yeah, so I chose, but fine line, I chose fashion photography in university because I have learned a lot of photography already, and I wanted to learn something new about photography. So I thought, what's the thing I feel closer to? And it was fashion. Unfortunately, there's a fashion photography course, yeah. I think it's a lot of internalized need to express myself. A lot of times I struggle to find an inspiration. For uni, they want us to, I don't know, I think a lot of my ideas come in my head, out of nowhere. And once I, okay, for example, the main idea behind this project was to explore my own photographic practice. I love black and white, so I wanted to do something with that and revolve it around the body, but the black body, and looking at it towards like the view of a Renaissance bronze sculpture, using like lighting to highlight like muscles and body arts. I don't know if that's the word. But yeah, and then that's the photographic visual part of it. The meaning part of it is that I was thinking within my own, like doing self-therapy, trying to think about my own experience. I realized like that there are many things in my childhood that I lived that influences and affects a lot of who I am like now in my adult life, in terms of the body and how comfortable I feel in it, like even showing skin or moving a certain way. I grew up around cis men a lot because of football and video games. So I think a lot of like misogyny and toxic masculinity rubbed off on me. And that, affected me and how comfortable I feel in my body. So the thought behind it is, how did all these anecdotes affect other people, other black people? Because, it's revolved around the black bodies. I had to think of like black men that I know that would feel comfortable doing what I'm asking them, like to be kind of vulnerable, not only physically, like in showing your skin and your body, but also like kind of helping me to have an insight on how masculinity affected them. So I wouldn't want to work with someone that I can see and tell and feel that like toxic masculinity has affected a lot, in which they're not able to, like eradicate misogyny from themselves or internalize like homophobia from themselves. So that's what I wouldn't want in my space, because it has to be a safe space for everyone. And thinking of that too, like if I'm collaborating with a designer, I know, or I want to know what, what ethics come with their work. And if it's sustainability or things like that, if it's sustainability, then I'm gonna think, okay, what garments can I use for that? I think it's more about making a safe environment when you can feel at home, kinda. Me as a photographer can feel at home, but the subjects that I'm capturing also can feel at home or in a room that they're comfortable in. So making sure that there are no other like anecdote that could interfere and ruin that calm mood that I'm trying to create. Community is very, very important to me. And it's one of the main things that drives me to do everything that I do in terms of like my personal photography work. And it has helped me a lot during these 2 years in which I've started doing fashion photography, because I realized that there's no point in photographing or including people that I don't feel connected to into my work. So community to me is, I think right now, is the Black community and the queer community. And yeah, so it's a lot. It's a lot to me. If I didn't have the Black community that I have here, which is also intersected with the queer community, I think my work would be very, very mediocre, because they add a lot to it. Like every model that I work with is either new to this or has been wanting to do it for a while, and they hadn't had the chances to do it because other people were not looking for someone that looked like them. But to me, it sounds stupid that that's happening, because I look like them and I want them in my work. So yeah, I think representation is what drives me when I'm doing my work. Not only because I couldn't see and I didn't see people that look like me in TV or fashion imagery growing up, but because I want for the future generation to be able to have something to look back to. Yeah. And yeah, it's a collective force, but it's very important. Like the photographers that inspires me the most right now are all Black photographers, like African photographers, or African diaspora photographers, because there's something that links me to them and I can feel it in my heart. There are a lot of creative directors or filmmakers or models or image makers that I've discovered this year only, that are from Ghana, and I'm from Ghana. I'm like, wow, there are people that are making this good work and that I didn't know about. Why? Because they don't get the shine that they should have. So I think within my community, that's what I want to do. I want to highlight everyone that deserves it. And by me highlighting them, it helps to get my work seen too. I worked on a fashion film during the winter break, and I made sure, because it's like one thing that I want to do always, to have for foremost the Black models, if possibly dark skin. And my creative director was Wushi, that's also a dark skin graphic designer, director, model, stylist, like everything. And I also had lighting assistant. It was a woman of color. The designer that I featured in the film is a person of color too. So I think it's very important to not only who you're capturing with your camera, but the people standing behind you and giving you advice. It's important that they are part of who you are and they can relate to what you're doing, because that's what brings a lot of misunderstanding. I don't really look at other photographers until I'm trying to find something that links to what I want to put out. I might look at another photographer for, setup ideas or lighting ideas or color grading ideas, but I don't like to maybe pick somebody else's idea, because I find it easy that they just come to me and I just have to, it's self-healing and spiritual work alongside my creative work. fashion photography is very broad. It's not just clothes, and it can really much just be shape and form, and you can go with that and interpret it how you like it. So the masculinity project that I'm doing will be revolved around form and the body, with not necessarily focusing on clothing. I obviously add to it because I'm studying a fashion course. But yeah, in relation to my masculinity project, fashion comes in with the maybe addition of garments or the set design that I want to make, because it's still all fabric at the end of the day. And before the clothes, there's the body. So I want to focus on that. And in contrast, my other project, it's revolved around, my background and everything, but that one will be a lot more focused on the clothing, because I want people to come dressed like the 70s, have some Afro-European 70s looking outfits. But yeah, and the European part comes from me growing up, and my European upbringing tells me about, Jordans or snapbacks or that kind of fashion, streetwear fashion. So for that project, I'm just gonna ask people to come as they feel, but with like an outfit that tells, an era in the African or European fashion. I think at some point, like something like overlap, definitely, because right now I'm looking at, to make a fashion image in, like, personally, my opinion of it or my view of it is not just the photographer and the model that you're capturing. There has to be something else to add to it. I do have plans, but I don't like to make like concrete plans too much in advance, because you never know what's gonna happen. Moving to the UK was a sudden, like, 3 days change for me. So like I couldn't have known that I would be in the UK 7 years ago. But yeah, like I still wanna keep studying, because I think it's a very good way to create opportunities for yourself. And like I did with fashion photography, I want to learn something else and go into lighting techniques, as a lighting technician, because that will also help me in the fashion industry and normal photography too. So yeah, I want to do some masters either abroad, or if I find a good program here in Leeds or in the UK.